Welcome back to my studio. And today we're going to be mixing the perfect shade of pink. Have you ever been trying to mix your red and your white and you just never can seem to get it quite right? And I don't like having to use the pre-mixed color. So let's head on over into the studio and see what we can create and what color pinks we can get. All right, here we are. Going to mix our pinks today. And of course, you'll never have to buy a pre-mixed paint again. So of course your pink is going to be determined on the red that you start with. And so I had a barn red, which I'm painting in there now, and an engine red, and then a dark red, and then a quinacridone magenta. And of course, pink is essentially your red and white. But like I was saying, your pink is going to depend on the shade of red that you start with. I am just so tired today. I had computer problems at work and I am just exhausted. And that one was the engine red. Then we'll do paint in the dark red. You can see, I don't know if you guys can see, underneath those circles, there's actually drawings. This was a space in my sketchbook that I had started the 100 Faces challenge, and I got to phase 3 and decided that a challenge like that is not for me. So I gessoed over that page so that not because I didn't like it, the faces were fine, but I wanted a spread on the 2 pages. And in this sketchbook, this was the only space I had, and I wasn't attached to those faces. So but I like working that way. And looking at this now, it's much more interesting looking at this page and seeing the layers underneath even these paint swatches. Oh, and I think I just did the magenta. So now we're going to do all those colors again, plus white. Let me know in the comments what you guys are working on. And if your day was as tiring as mine. And that's the engine red plus white. That engine red plus white is a little bit, my goal was to get to that premixed color there next to the P. The premixed color I have is actually poodle skirt pink. And I do like that premixed pink. But it's fun to mix your own pink too. So that was my basis, is to try to find something when that runs out and you don't have to buy a premixed pink. What pinks can you get with the reds that you have? And then that pinky peach color next to the K that I had already done, that actually is that poodle skirt pink plus the opposite on the color wheel, which would be a yellow green. I actually had a premixed yellowish green. I think it was pistachio mint, or it may have been no, because that's a minty green. Margarita. So that's been fun, mixing that poodle skirt pink and this margarita color and making that peach. That's a gorgeous peach color. That's another way to neutralize or make a different, tone down your mute your colors using the opposite on the color wheel. And we do that also, but that's another couple rows down. And then I thought how to mute your colors. You can do it two ways. You can do it with the opposite on the color wheel, or a little bit of black. And let me emphasize a little bit, like a minute. I actually used a little bit too much, not realizing how little you actually need of black. And as you can see, it's like almost black. And all of those swatches end up being like that. But on there was one of them, let me look here. The engine red is kind of, you can see some of the hints of red. And then with the black, so it's kind of like a really dark maroon color. And then there was another color here. I think it was the magenta and pink and white with a little bit of black. That actually looks like a very, very dark purple. Another pretty color. So where are we on now? We're on the dark red. That just looks like black too when I do it. I don't know if you can tell here, but this is the one that's like a really beautiful dark purple color. Probably in the camera, it kind of still probably just looks black. But that one actually is really pretty. I liked that one and the engine red. But then this row here got me thinking, in the end, well, what if I added white to those mixes and see what I got? And the last row ends up being gorgeous grays and purples. That's what made me think of it when that magenta, I saw purple. I was like, oh, I bet I can get some really pretty grays and purples that would look really nice in your paintings, in the shadows and stuff like that, in the sky. This is why it's so fun to do these color swatches with your colors that you're thinking about using in your painting. Do a little bit of a swatch in your sketchbook. One, it makes a beautiful page, and two, you'll see what some of the starting combinations you can get for your painting. I didn't used to value doing this practice, but I absolutely see the benefit. And here I'm starting to use the pink and green. These ended up being really pretty green colors. So I'm thinking of doing another demo, but do greens, because I know that I have trouble with greens. I don't know if you guys do. Let me know if green is what your like bane of your existence as an artist. I have such a hard time getting good greens, especially natural green colors. The premixed ones are awful. I don't like any green that's premixed. But these are like a really neutrally green. Of course, they don't look like they're pink, but the pink and the green neutralize each other. So they're not going to look pink, or they're not going to look green. It was such a nice day today. Today's Halloween, and my town does Halloween then trick or treat the night before, so on Beggar's Night. And last night was a really nice night too, other than it was had been raining all day, so it was really wet outside. But today was gorgeous. We were like almost 80. It's supposed to be that way tomorrow too. This next row, I really wasn't sure what I was going to do. I think I did the pink mixture again, the white plus the red. And then I think I added just a tiny dot of green. I think that green row Above probably had too much green in it, so it was more on the green side. But I think this next one, I think I did a lot less. I didn't write it down, so I'm like looking at it now and I'm like, I don't know what I did, but these are gorgeous peach colors. I need to paint faster, I guess. I'm talking to my son. He's in the room with me, so I think I'm painting slow. You don't have to color swatch as neat as, well, I don't know if this is neat, but making circles and painting them in and writing the names at the bottom. You certainly could just paint a line and do the next one. And I like to use this as a reference. If I get stuck on a painting, I'd be like, oh, I need a really neat purple color or in the shadows or whatever. Or I was making some really nice peaches when I was color swatching. Let's go back to that peach row and see what I can do, because those peaches would really be nice if you were a portrait painter. I mean, who would have known that you make pink and add green to your portrait to get a really good skin tone? I don't know. I never would have guessed that. All right. Now I was like, what do I do for that last row? I'm going to use that dark purpley colors that I was getting and just add some white and just make it lighter. And so I did, and you'll see what I'm talking about. They are really pretty purples. Well, there's one that's like a really nice gray, nice warm gray. I always wondered, how do you get a warm gray, not black and white? I think I did that one first, actually. That's what I was like thinking. I'm like, oh, what one did I do? I'm like, I think I did the red and dark red. This one's nice too. This is a purpley, pinky. If you need a red, you need to get a quinacridone magenta. Of course, my son, the non-artist, has told me that that actually is the primary red color, the true primary color. Fun fact, I guess. Of course, I would also keep some other reds, like a vermilion or I'm not sure, something that might be a different red. I'm so dead, brain dead. I'm so tired. This one's gonna be nice too. It's kind of almost like the magenta, this barn red. Makes a really nice purple too. All right, we'll see you next time in the studio.